Hi, boys and girls. This week's episode of Cooking with Kitty is brought to you by R&R Canadian whiskey. It's the second best thing you'll ever put in your mouth. And on today's episode, we're going to be making caribou stew. And this is kind of a special episode because instead of featuring all my other shit that I normally feature, today I'm going to be featuring my girl, Miss Sissy. So Sissy's going to be cooking with us today, and I'm going to talk to her about her a little throughout the show, whatever. But today we're going to make a caribou stew. This is the last bit of meat that I have from the caribou that me and Joe killed a couple months ago. And I heard Sissy really liked caribou, so you know. This is going to be kind of a meal for her, kind of ease her in the new situation, new living accommodations. Her and Kitty, they're still in the process of figuring each other out right now. So it's an exciting time for all of us because we're all learning a lot about each other and living in a little space and bringing a new woman in the house. Tensions are always pretty tense. But here we go with the stew anyway. So I got my grease warming right now, and what I've got about, because I've been eating a lot of, I'm about out of bacon grease anyway, so I have about half bacon grease and then the rest lard. And you can buy this shit anywhere, but I recommend cooking with bacon grease and lard. I tell you that every episode, and it's just because that's what I believe. It's the best grease. It's the best grease on the market. It's been around since the days of fucking pioneers and whatever, and it didn't kill them, and so it's got to be something good to it. But right now, what I did: salt and pepper your caribou. See my little trick? I spit in there again. Once it starts, we're gonna saute this. But until my pan gets hot here, you're probably wondering about this cool hat I got. Well, again, Willow Rose. I was in there the other day talking to Charlene, and I saw this hat, and it reminded me of Mushmouth from Fat Albert. I guess you got to be a little bit older to remember that. But, he's a guy that he never made any sense when he was talking. I saw this beanie. I was like, boom. For $3.50. I said, it's mine. I got to wear it. I fucking love it. Mushmouth was one of my favorite characters. Whatever. So there's that. I'm trying to piece this together. Oh, and I also want to thank my buddy Drew and his wife Mallory they just sent me 2 half gallons of R&R Canadian whiskey. Go get you some. It makes shit happen. And it's actually Rich and Rare Reserve, which I have never seen here in Alaska. So this was very special. This hit me right here. This is very special. So I'm loving it. If you ever can find the reserve, definitely get you some because it's top notch. But okay, perfect. This is coming along perfect. Okay, grease is hot. Oh shit. What I want to do, because I like my stews. I'll try to explain as I go, but I like my stews a little thicker. And so what I'm going to do, we played a 10-second rule here. You just kind of gotta. I'm gonna explain it when we're going, but I like a thicker stew, so I like to flour. I salt and pepper my caribou, and I probably got 2 pounds of meat here, something like that. But I like to salt and pepper it. Try to get you a bag that doesn't have fucking holes in it. Okay. Let me turn this a little like that. Oh, we're clicking on good here. Okay. And I got this on a low temperature. salt and peppered. Try to crank that up just a little bit more. But I'm just going to brown this meat real good. I'm going to brown the meat real good, and I'm going to make a gravy. And that's another reason why I cook with the lard and the bacon grease, because it makes, you know, it makes a real good gravy. And again, caribou is a very lean meat. You want to put as much, you want to try to get as much fat back in your stews as you can, especially when you're cooking with really lean meats. Is what I would recommend doing. I didn't time this again very well. I need to. I told you last time I was gonna start planning this shit out better. I don't do much planning, to be honest with you. But so while I'm letting this meat brown, and I just want to get a good. Oh, you know, it'll probably take 5 minutes to brown. I'm not going to talk to you that long because, you know, I don't think you really want to hear me talking about whatever. But so while this is browning, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Sissy. And she hurt. Yes, that's you, girl. Look at her. So Sissy, I just picked her up yesterday. I've been kind of hanging out with her last couple weeks, you know, because I wanted her to choose me, and she has now, so we're going to make a good team, all of us together. But anyway, Sissy is a retired sled dog, and she retired, actually yesterday was her first run, or her last run, I mean. So, and I think Julie told me they ran 16, 20 miles yesterday. Anyway, she's almost 10 years old. September 1st, she'll be 10 years old. And so, you know, she's been pulling a sled for 10 years and fucking banging that out. And, you know, it's time for her to retire. And hopefully, she chose me to be her forever home. And I could not be happier. I'm not going to get emotional. But I couldn't be happier, you know. I mean, it's been, I don't know, a year and a half since I lost Whiskey, you know, and being out here by yourself without animals, you know, and I mean, I have Kitty, but I can't take her outside or anything, really. You know, it's harder, you know. It's not impossible by any means, but, you know, the nights and everything out here are lonely. I'm not going to lie to you, and you know, if you have an animal with you, you know, somebody can get in bed with you, and cats are cool, but long story short, I'm as happy as I can be. And I think this is going to be a good situation for both of us. Okay. Meat's browning good. I still want it to brown a little bit longer. So what I did, prep work here, I went ahead and cut a couple potatoes, a couple carrots. I've got onion. I'm all about garlic, so that's a whole clove of garlic. And that's browned up pretty good. And I put a lot of grease in here because I'm gonna show you, because you want the grease in here, and I'm actually gonna have to add a little bit more. Okay, the meat's browned good. So I'm going to put it in my pan. And here's my pot. If you see last time, like I said, you don't wash shit. I think the last thing I know the last thing I had in here was a caribou stew. So I'm not sweating that, you know, that this thing hasn't been washed. And this is a very basic, very simple stew. I mean, and what I really like about these stews, okay, there's no way to fuck them up. You can do whatever you want to with a stew, but this is the part, you know, I'm just going to show you here. I've used about all my grease in there, so I just want to add, you know, just a little bit more grease. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. This is where it gets interesting. And honestly, the hardest thing for me to make has always been a gravy. For whatever reason, I can't make gravies. So I just melted the lard in there. Okay, so I melted the lard in there, and now I just start doing some flour and kind of stirring the lard, and then I'm gonna show you. Well. Pabst Blue Ribbon. This is my secret. All right, I'm doing this with my left hand. So I'm putting flour. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going flour. And I'm just stirring, I'm stirring this, brisking this up real good. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Well, we'll just add it later. Fuck it. And if you probably, you know, y'all probably know a better way to do gravies than I do. Like I said, I've never been good at gravy, but, you know, I mean, I'm making a pretty good, like a mush here, which once you dump it in the stew, it just thickens everything up. You know, fuck it, I'll dump some pepper in there. Let's make like a white gravy, throw a little salt in there. I want to show you what's going on here. I mean,